Let's talk about some of the high limits Capital One credit cards for no LLC. So if you're an LLC and you're looking for a high limit Capital One credit card, business credit card for that matter, here is a show that I want you to watch right now. So here is an overview I want you to pay attention to. So when we talk about Capital One and no LLC business credit cards, you have a large array of business credit cards. It really depends on what you are trying to get to. Are you looking for cashback business credit cards for your new LLC? Are you looking for mileage, like miles points? Are you looking for rewards? Are you looking for intro APR offer on balance transfers? So whatever you need, Capital One has it for you. Because Capital One is well known for its rewards credit cards for consumers. It also offers a constellation of great business credit cards for LLCs, either new or established LLCs. And that's true whether you want to earn flexible cashback or rewards you can redeem to cover travel expenses, for example. So if you are in the market for a new LLC business credit card, Capital One's slate is worth considering. And what we love about Capital One here is that they are constantly adding new perks, new rewards, new bonuses, whatever. They're really trying to up their game anytime. So this is just fantastic. And what we love here is that one credit card from Capital One may offer valuable rewards and cardholder benefits. But one thing you need to understand here is that you need to choose specifically because there could be fees associated with this. The APR is kind of high on Capital One credit cards in general. So think about that, okay? By the way, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here to have a quick convo with you about the high limits Capital One credit cards for new LLCs. So I want to start with the first one. So you have the Capital One Spark Cash Plus card. This is great for earning cash back. So if your new LLC wants to earn cash back, you might want to consider this Capital One Spark Cash Plus card. And this card actually rewards new LLC business owners with a generous welcome offer and really an easy to understand earning rate. So new card holders can earn a cash bonus of up to $1,000. So that's $500 cash back when they spend $5,000 within 3 months of account opening, and another $500 upon spending $50,000 in the first 6 months. So really, when you think about it, this is really, you got to ask yourself, is this good for me? If yes, go ahead for it. Okay. That's on top of the unlimited 2% cashback offered for each dollar spent and unlimited 5% cashback on hotels and rental cars booked through Capital One Travel. So this business credit card is a pay in full card, also known as a charge card. So for your new LLC, if your new LLC is looking for a charge card, then think about it. This is kind of cool. There's no preset credit limits, but you'll need to pay your balance in full every month or incur a 2.99% late fee on your outstanding statement balance. Okay, think about that. And this Capital One Spark Cash Plus card also charges $150 annual fee. So keep that in mind as you decide which Capital One LLC business credit card is great for you. Then you also have the Capital One Spark Miles for Business. In our view, this is actually great for travel. So if your new LLC is looking for a travel business credit card and is looking for it's looking into the Capital One portfolio, you might want to think about the Capital One Spark Miles for Business. So this card, it really offers miles instead of cashback. So you're not getting cashback, but you're getting miles. So this is a great option for LLC business owners who travel frequently. Is that you? Do you travel a lot? Do you travel like sporadically? You got to think about your travel volume. Okay. So new card members get the chance to earn 50,000 miles when they spend $4,500 within 3 months of account opening, equal to $500 in travel, as well as an unlimited 2x miles on all purchases and 5x miles on hotels and rental cars purchased through Capital One Travel. Now, make sure that you purchase everything through a Capital One Travel, because otherwise you're not getting rewarded at all. This is just the Capital One, just making sure that everything stays within its ecosystem, which makes sense. Amex does the same thing. Chase does the same thing. All big banks do the same thing. Citi does the same thing. Bank of America does the same. They all do the same thing. Okay, this is important. And by the way, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. I'm talking about high limit Capital One credit cards for new LLCs, how to get one, which one should you choose, and how to actually go about it. So I spoke to you about the Capital One Cash Plus card. This is a charge card that allows you to earn cash back. Now I'm talking to you about the Capital One Spark Miles for Business, which is great for travel. So rewards can be redeemed to cover any travel purchase charged to the card, or they can be transferred to Capital One airline and hotel partners. And cardholders also receive up to $100 credit towards global entry or TSA pre-check. A $95 annual fee applies, but it's waived the first year. I want to talk to you about the Capital One Spark Cash Select. So for your new LLC, this could be a great option if you are trying to, the thing is, you do have, this card is great for a cashback option because you have a $500 cashback bonus. Okay, let's talk about that. I want to really dig a little deeper here. So the Capital One Spark Cash Select $500 cash bonus starts new cardholders with a $500 bonus when they spend $4,500 within the first 3 months of account opening. So whenever we talk about Capital One business credit cards, especially for new LLCs, you have to make sure that all your expenses are planned. Like, for example, see here, Capital One is rewarding you for spending $4,500, but you have to plan. If you plan those, then it's fine. Unless your LLC has no money problems, then you should plan. You have to plan all the time, by the way, okay? And purchases charged to the card also earn a flat 1.5% cashback, which can be redeemed for a cashback in any amounts, as well as an unlimited 5% cashback on hotels and rental cars booked through Capital One Travel. And this card doesn't charge an annual fee, but it does require a good to excellent credit score. So if your new LLC has a good credit score or excellent credit score, you will love this card. And you may also want to consider the Capital One Spark Cash Select 0% intro APR for 12 months. This card actually offers the same cashback rewards structure, but comes with 12 months of 0% APR on purchases. But after that, the APR is kind of high though. And this is kind of similar to all Capital One APRs. Like you have 20.74% to 28.74%. And so instead of the opportunity to earn a $500 cash bonus, and there is no annual fee, and you only need good credit to apply. So when you think about new LLCs, high limits Capital One credit cards in general, you got to be very clear. You see, the game becomes a lot easier to understand and play if you know exactly what you're going after. Are you going after cashback? Are you going after travel rewards? Are you going after everyday rewards? Are you going after everyday perks? Once you know what you're going after, things become a lot easier and you can play the game better. And one thing I want to say here is that Capital One, as I think I've said this before, they actually have throughout the year, they have those sort of rotational promotions. And just make sure that if there is such a promotion, that you just grab it as soon as possible, because they have some of the best rates at that time, especially around the holiday season. It's just fantastic. Let me talk to you about the Spark 1.5 Miles Select. So right now, if you are, let's say you are just you're trying to understand, like you have your new LLC, okay, and you would like to have you need to accumulate miles rewards, and it's not about just traveling, but you just need also to accumulate miles rewards. This card is great for you because the Spark 1.5x Miles Select is a card that has no annual fee. So this is great right off the bat for your new LLC. You can earn an unlimited 1.5x miles on all business spending, plus 5x on hotels and rental cars booked through Capital One Travel. And cardholders can also earn a 20,000 mile bonus when they spend 3,000 within 3 months of account opening. This is kind of cool. And so this is one of those things where we advise our business clients to plan in advance and make sure they're getting the right bang for their buck. So let's say if you've got some large upcoming business expenses and you want some additional time to pay them off, new cardholders also get an introductory 0% APR on purchases for 9 months. Now, 9 months is kind of a limited when you compare it to 15 months that you see with banks such as U.S. banks and what have you. But 9 months is still 9 months, right? So it's one of those things. It's one of those things where you have to plan things in advance. And the best way to do this is you got to ask yourself what your LLC needs are. Like you have a new LLC. but you have to have something called an estimated spend. So you have a clear idea what you are going to spend and what you're going to spend on, and most importantly, how you're going to pay for those things, right? And it should be credit cards. As long as you have decent credit, you should qualify for. You should be able to qualify for a business credit card. And what you need to know when we talk about the estimated spend, there are three things you need to have it on that sheet. You got to have how much you are planning on spending. Where are you going to spend it? Like on what items you are going to spend it, and how quickly you're going to repay that charge. Remember that Capital One does have some cards on which you cannot carry a balance, so those are called charge. Those are called charge cards, and there are other cards where you are allowed to carry balances. So if you were to go with a card where you're not able to carry balances, you need to have the cash to actually take care of whatever payment is outstanding. Okay, otherwise you are going to have fees so high it's crazy. You'll be like, listen, my ass is out of here. I'm not really willing to pay that much. But again, it's all about planning. So if you don't plan, you are going to suffer, no doubt about it. If you don't plan, you are going to suffer, and Capital One is not going to help you, because this is how the game is set, and this is how they run their business. This is how they have run it for the last 30 years or 40 years. I want to talk to you about another card. So if you are, let's say, if you are a new LLC and you're looking for, and let's say you have imperfect credit, let's say you have had problems in the past, maybe bankruptcies, maybe charge-offs, maybe collections. Right now, you have some derogatory items on your FICO reports. You tried everything, but your score is still like around 500 or 550 or 6 or what have you. So you're trying to have a high limit Capital One credit card. You might want to go with a Spark 1% Classic. So this card is actually great for imperfect credit. So business owners with imperfect credit may not be approved for other business credit cards from Capital One. Yet the Spark 1% Classic is geared toward people with fair credit. So this typically includes any FICO score between 580 and 669. Now they said this publicly that this does not include people with a credit score of 580. But if you have let's say if you have less than 580, you can still qualify. Yeah, definitely. We know because we have accompanied many clients who are currently Capital One credit card holders, business credit card holders for that matter. And they got approved. They got approved even though they were like around 500 or 450. By the way, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about high limits Capital One credit cards for new LLCs. So I'm giving you a few hacks here and there so you have a clear idea what you're getting yourself into, and you can actually apply for the right card and get approved. Okay. And so what we love about this Spark 1% Classic is that not only is it easier to qualify for, but as a cardholder, you get the chance to earn an unlimited 1% cashback on all purchases with no annual fee, and an unlimited 5% cashback on hotels and rental cars booked through Capital One Travel. So again, here you have the flexibility, and this is really cool. Let me give you a few, some ideas about the benefits of Capital One business credit cards. So if you were to go with Capital One business credit cards for your new LLC or for your established LLCs for that matter, there are some benefits, and it really pays off to know a lot more about them. So for example, you have bonus travel rewards, for example, you have streamlined bill payments, and you have QuickBooks integration, among other things. I want to quickly talk about some of those. So bonus travel rewards. So all Capital One business credit cards offer either 5% cashback or 5x miles on hotels and rental cars purchased through Capital One Travel. So this gives you the opportunity to earn extra rewards on business trips, even if you only travel once or twice a year. So if you have a new LLC and you don't travel that much because you're trying to save cash, or you don't need to travel that much, then you could also go with Capital One business credit cards. You also have streamlined bill payments. So as a business owner, you can pay vendors directly from your Capital One business account and have the option to defer the payments until the next billing cycle and extend your float for up to 45 days. So Capital One will charge a 2.9% fee for every payment made from a credit card or debit card, but you can make ACH transaction from a linked checking account for free. So those are really important elements to mention. And we also love with Capital One, we love the QuickBooks integration. So if your new LLC right now has its accounting processes. If you have your accounting processes set up in QuickBooks, then you will love this. You'll love this configuration here. So your Capital One business account is designed to integrate seamlessly with QuickBooks, as well as other business management software programs such as Concur, Expensify, Zero, and Abacus. And one thing I want to say also is that when you think about this integration, you got to think about not only in terms of are you getting your transaction linked directly to your business checking accounts or your business savings account, and how is that going to change at the end of the year when you have to do your tax returns? Like you have a new LLC. Now it will depend though. If you are a single member LLC, then you don't really need to have access to a large constellation of documents, because you're filing your schedule, you're filing your 1040, and you're putting everything on the business side on Schedule C. But if you have a multi-member LLC, if you have a new multi-member LLC, then you'll need to go through the full process. So let's close to this conversation. I want to give you a few pro tips. Okay. And so how do you actually choose the right Capital One business credit card for you? Obviously, it doesn't matter whether you have a new LLC or existing LLC. You just need to have a clear idea of what to do step by step. So you are basically getting a high limit. First, you want to know your credit score, because most of the best Capital One business credit cards require excellent credit to be approved, which usually means any FICO score of 740 or above. And the Capital One Spark Cash Select 0% intro APR for 12 months, for example, is available to people with good credit, and the Spark 1% Classic accepts cardholders with fair credit. So again, it's just a matter of making sure you have the proper documentation, and you need to decide if you are willing to pay an annual fee, because a card with an annual fee can be well worth it, as long as your rewards and perks offset the cost. Keep in mind that you can avoid paying an annual fee if you are willing, for example, to accept a lower rewards rate. So those are really things you need to think about. And you need to choose between miles and cashback. What's important for you? So Capital One Travel Rewards credit cards offer the opportunity to transfer your miles to Capital One transfer partners, which can be helpful if you're saving up miles for a future travel redemption. This is kind of cool. On the other hand, cashback Capital One cards are convenient, as you can redeem your rewards for cashback in any amount. It really gives you more flexibility. And you also need to evaluate the importance of additional features. So do you want a 0% intro APR to pay off large purchases over time? Do you or your employee frequently travel for work? So you need to really think about those elements and see, okay, you know what? I think I might qualify for this piece of content, right? So consider the unique needs of your business to determine which perks to really pursue, and for how long. Because the thing is that right now, if you are trying to choose the right Capital One business credit card, you need to be really focused and serious, and really marshal all the resources you have to have a clean cut Capital One new LLC business credit card statements. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I was been speaking to you into this conversation about the high limits Capital One credit cards for new LLCs. So I gave you the overview, the bonus, and the pro tips. So we spoke about the Capital One Cash Plus card, the Capital One Miles for Bonus, Capital One Spark Cash Select, Capital One, you have the Spark 1.5 Miles Select, then you have the Spark 1% Classic. Thank you so much. I'll speak to you another time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.